Well, I say it must be Wednesday because I have with me the original Coach Carter. How you doing, Coach Carter? How you doing? How
Doing
you
fine,
doing?
doing really good, and glad to be here. And wish everybody out there in Streamland a happy Wednesday.
You
Glad you're
know,
with
it's funny
us.
because we were just sitting here chatting for a second, and fall started yesterday. So,
Yes,
right. So fall started yesterday, and for people that don't know, Coach Carter is no longer here in Florida. He's up there in Tennessee, and so when does the fall you start to feel the fall weather? So when you start to feel the fall weather?
we're actually going to start feeling it probably late Thursday and Friday. We're going to get down 59
Oh,
on that week. This late Thursday evening, we got a football game on Friday night, so we should be down possibly as low as 59, 56, which is going to make for a great football weather. And from there, I think we're going to start that our highs are going to start being in the 70s, um, on climbing down from the 90s that we've been in the 80s. It's going down incrementally. So I look forward to very soon we'll be 69, 65 high, down in the 50s at night. And I'm fine with that. I'm ready. It's been a little hot. Even for Tennessee, it's been hot.
yeah, yeah. So we haven't had it. Actually, we didn't get an update on your knee, on your surgery. So how you doing with that?
Doing really well. Actually running a little bit now. Back in the gym a little bit, not as much as I'd like, but still, that's just a scheduling issue. But actually getting a little bit of running in. So we're progressing I'm progressing very, very well. My doctor's happy. He released me some time ago, but he still wanted to do a follow up with me. And he's at our football game because he's a team doctor. So he always checks in with me, always asks me, how's the wheel doing? And I show him, I'm so happy to show him the wheel's doing fine. So things are coming along really well.
And so what month it was that you had your surgery?
February.
Okay, okay, okay.
In fact, today eclipses 7 months.
Okay, okay.
7 months from surgery, because my first surgery was on February 27th.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, great, great, great.
So
Well, my question
yeah,
is, okay, now this is Youth Central Sports, Charles Morris with the original Coach Carter. We come your way every Wednesday at 11 p.m. right here at www.youthcentralsports.com. So question, what you want to talk about first? You want to talk about your Cowboys or you want to talk about Tiger Woods? Which one you talk about
I
first?
think I talk about Tiger Woods
Okay.
because I really think Tiger just, I felt like Tiger was getting so close and getting so close and getting so close that I just felt like a win was in the air, kind of like you're talking about for the Cleveland Browns. But I think he did it in typical Tiger fashion. And it was interesting to hear his comments after his win. He's very surreal, very calm about it, but you could tell there was some excitement. And all those people that have been talking about Tiger, I wondered, okay, maybe you got your wish now. He might be awake, and you might be sorry of that. But I think he still got one or two more in him before he actually gives it up. And the remarkable thing, Charles, multiple back surgeries he's had, and for him to be able to come out in that type of game, that kind of competition, and play that well, that's remarkable. And then he's on the Ryder Cup as well. So I'm very, very excited about his comeback. Just good for the game, good for sport.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, that view, that shot they had of that crowd that was walking. Did you see
Mhm.
that?
Yes, I did. I did.
That was
That was exciting in itself. I mean, that brought back visions of old Tiger. I mean, that Tiger Nation, I guess whatever they called it, that followed him, the gallery, man, they were so excited for his play, which says Tiger is still a favorite out there. And then now you see Nike has made a new commercial with him, one of the only sponsors that really stood by him all the way, and all the way through back to this victory. So again, I applaud him and for his physical determination, his mental tenacity to stay in there, and just his love for the game of golf.
Yeah, the funny thing is that to sit there and to see that many people so excited about
Yeah,
golf. I mean,
yeah,
I'm a serious. It was like this. I mean, look and see that many people, and just how that look and how that came across on camera, it was like, wow. It was almost like they was going there to, like, people was going to find the fountain of youth or something. I was like, whoa, okay.
I was excited, and I'm not really a golfer, but I was excited because, again, I like to see those. I think there's so much in the game of sport and comeback and the underdog, as well as the champion itself being going out and executed at high level. I really think there's great testimonies at that, great lessons to be learned, and I'm just excited to see somebody come back. Dedicate more than anything was his dedication to returning. And any athlete that goes down or falls out of grace, if you will, or falls off his ladder and he's able to get back on, I have a great appreciation for the tenacity and the effort and the discipline that they put in to get back. I guess that excites me more than anything else.
Now, everything you said is true, but I will always believe this, Vince, and I'll say it from my own experience, and not to get into it, but because golf, to me, I don't play golf. I've had some really nice golf clubs that my aunt gave me years ago. She gave me some really nice golf clubs because it was her golf clubs, and she was an older lady now. She said, Charles, I bought these things, and she shipped them to me from Columbus, Ohio. They've been sitting in my garage for some time now, for about like 15 years. Right. And the funny thing is, all of my friends that I played ball with back in the day, for the last 15 years, as they've gotten older, they play golf, and they've been trying to get me to play golf. But golf is just one of these things. There is just not enough. I need more stuff going on. It's just not. I just need more stuff going on. I need more physical stuff. That's not getting it for me right now. I'm not at that place yet. But I say that to say, because of the mental part of it. For me personally, this is just my personal opinion. I think a lot of it had to do with, in addition to the injuries that you're talking about, but I also think a major part of that too was the mental aspect of him dealing with the breakup of his family, and all of that came into play in addition to his injuries.
I 100% agree. I think that was a situation all by itself. That deserved treatment alone. But to compound that with a physical injury, I think really just gave him extra baggage to carry, and to be able to decipher between those two, dealing with both that family breakup and what that means, and dealing with his children and that whole scenario and all the public publicity about that, and then to be able to suffer through 4 surgeries, which now is taking you off. You're not doing the thing that you love. You're not performing at the level you want to, and you're not up there. I think that's an extra burden on him, but to be able to overcome that, at least to get this victory, I think says an awful lot about his tenacity and his discipline and his determination to get back. Now we'll see next, can he maintain it? Not that he necessarily has to win any more tournaments, which I suspect he will win, but just play at that level. Being in the top 5 or the top 3 in any tournament that he's involved in, you've got to honor him for that. Because he's going to win a couple more.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good to see him back.
Yeah.
Good for the game. Of course, there's always been a lot of criticism. There always will be, and he makes a difference. He makes a difference in the ratings. He makes a difference in the whole aspect of golf.
Well, even the golfers are saying, even his competitors, those guys who are going up against him, are saying it's good to have him back. The gallery is stronger. The focus on the game is strong, and it benefits everybody. Just Tiger playing, whether he's in the top 10 or the top 100. I mean, just to have Tiger out on the course means an awful lot. So I'm excited, and I thought it was a great victory. I was so excited, and I'm like you. I'm not a golfer. I really want to be, but I'm not there yet. I've been on the golf course. I love being on the course, though. I love getting in the cart and riding around the course. That is absolutely fantastic. The frustration for me comes, I can't hit the ball straight. So that I give it up. I hit 2 or 3 times, I'm back on the cart, and I just go ride. So I just go joy ride.
The funny thing is that years ago, I think it was in the late 90s, there is and his name will come to me, but he at Orange County National, and he is a well-known golf instructor.
Mm-hmm.
And every time, all the people that knows golf, and when I mention his name, and he offered to give me free lessons like 3 times,
Right.
and I think it's Russo or something like that. I don't. But if I mention his name around somebody who knows golf, they will know who he is. And he offered to give me lessons like 3 times. He claimed, hey, Charles, come out, blah, blah, blah. And I just never did, And people who know golf, they look at me like, do you know who this guy is? But golf is just, it's just, if it just doesn't do anything for me right now. I'm not in that place right now, and that was in the late 90s,
I've been around some very good golfers. I've been intrigued by the game. Definitely have a different appreciation for it because I have actually been on the links and hit the ball a little bit. So I understand their excitement and I understand the enjoyment, but I'm dealing with the frustration of not being able to get all of that out of the game, primarily because I'm not playing it enough. And I'm kind of like where you are. I'm not quite ready to delve into it like I think I'm going to have to do to be the kind of golfer that I want. I'm not, certainly not looking to be a professional, but I like to be a good casual golfer. There's so much goes on that golf course, and I've seen that for myself. I've been able to participate without actually playing the game, but being able to be on the golf course. And a lot of time I've come across people, the first thing they ask me, hey, let's get together and play some golf. And I'm like, no, I can go out there and sit with you if you like, but I can't play. So maybe sometime in the near future I'll pick it up. I'll really get serious about it.
Okay. Well, now that leads us straight to your Cowboys. Straight to your Cowboys.
Listen, I'm telling you, the controversy has come about the offensive play calling. I think it's a little bit more than that, but I think that's a good place to start. I thought we didn't the game that we played against Seattle. Some of his offensive is stuttering and spreading, and it's not necessarily execution. Therefore, they're saying it's play calling. Sometimes they don't look inspired, which now brings up a conversation of replacing not only the offensive coordinator, but replacing the head coach. And while I never want to be in favor of somebody losing their job, we may be coming to that time where change. One of those areas got to change. Jason Garrett cannot go back and start calling plays because they need him to be head coach. And so I was reading something today, and they're talking about if it comes to that, they had a whole list of guys, both in the college ranks and in the professional ranks, that could come in and either be coordinator or be coordinator head coach at the same time. So it's a thought out there. Knowing Jerry Jones, it's been talked about already. So I'm a little bit concerned about us, but I see spurts that tells us if we can put it together, we got what we need to try to get something done. Defensively, that's where I'm more concerned than the offensive side of the ball, although the defense is kind of keeping us up right now.
Well, yeah, I honestly didn't think that they would go into Seattle and beat them at Seattle. If the game had been in Dallas, I might have favored them in Dallas, but I really didn't think that they were going to beat Seattle in Seattle.
Well, even if we didn't beat them, we got to play better than what we did. We got to at least compete. And there for a minute, we weren't competing. This coming back in the second half thing is not going to work for us. As you can see, we get our head beat up in the first half, and then we want to make the second half run. That's not going to work against, even as you go down, because Seattle hadn't won a game. And then we let them win one. And then you're playing against teams with better records. You're down the first half. You're going to be down even more in the second half.
I wanted to ask you, did you see the Lions game? Lions and the Patriots game?
I did.
Now, I was really shocked. I was shocked because, we had talked about the Lions before and how bad they looked. And then all of a sudden you'd be like, whoa. So would you be a little concerned about the Patriots and what's going on?
Well, I've already said coming in, the Patriots were going to implode because there's so much background stuff going on in the background that's, in my opinion, is starting to spill over to the field. So I don't look for them to have a great year. I really look for Brady to be gone after this year. They're playing. And a lot of people said it was because the head coach of the Lions was a former Patriot. He was able to apply that to that game, which I think is true. But he also those guys look motivated over there. They really dug in for their head coach against that former team and got the job done. The Patriots did not look well. They didn't do. They just didn't look good. And I think the controversy in that locker room is spilling over to the field. And I think it's going to hurt them all year long. And I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the year that Brady leaves New England.
You think he's going to retire, or would he go to another team?
I think he'll go to another team. I don't think he's going to retire, especially if he has a decent season this year, regardless of what they do. And he has a decent number season. Numbers are good. I think he'll play some more because he's already thrown out a hypothetical of some teams he might be interested in going to. So the conversation has been had. And plus, he's been in the league a long time. He's coming up on retirement, or at least change. And so it's some conversation has been had about that.
Now, did you know? Did you hear the story about Gronk and the fact that he was almost traded, but said that if he did, he would retire because they was ready to trade
Yes,
him.
I did.
That was on the table, and it was and supposedly ready to go.
Yep, he was ready to go. And he went in and talked to the management and along with Belichick and I think those guys, and they changed their mind because they're trying to get younger. They're old. They're not old, but they're trying to rebuild. And Grunk is a quality asset to be dealt. But he's saying, I'm not going to play any place else but here. And they honored that and brought him back, which I think was a smart thing to do because that was a very valuable asset to give away.
Yeah, really.
Although they could have got a lot for him, but whoever you dealt him to, boy, they just picked up a lot.
Mm. Did you see the Tampa Bay game with the Steelers?
Yeah, I did. That controversy down there is going to be in Tampa is going to be crazy. I mean, they lost the game the other day. Guy threw for 400 some yards, and even the head coach said, they're going to see what Winston will be back, and we're going to take a look at it, which means they don't have an answer right now. They don't know what they're going to do. And this guy's throwing the ball. Well, he hasn't turnover ratio against Jameson is better, throwing for more yards. Now he's not running. He's not a running quarterback where Jameson can actually put the ball down and run. But you got to go with your hot hand. But it does stir up the question. You're paying Jameson that kind of money. You got to play him or you got to let him go. You got to get rid of it. Now, do you want to make that decision? I mean, it's a good decision to make. Cowboys did. Tony Romo was a starting quarterback, but they made the decision, or actually they actually came together and made that decision. And so I think that's what Tampa Bay is going to be facing.
When you actually, if you go back to the 3 games, honestly, I think Cleveland had a very good chance of being 3-0 if they had a kicker.
They did. Well, I mean, I think you got to give Hugh Jackson an awful lot of credit for hanging in there and believing, even when some of the people working with him said, "Man, you're losing your mind. You're not going to be able to do that." But they come out and put one heck of an effort on the field, and just a couple of hiccups, and you're right, they could be 3-0. So they're dangerous. They're dangerous. They are a dangerous team, and like you said, it was in the air that they were going to win one.
Right.
And it's in the air. They're gonna win a couple more too. So it's that momentum thing. I think it's just a matter of being patient and continuing to work hard and can pay attention to details. And they got their first victory. And I'm not a Cleveland Browns fan, but I was really excited for them.
Oh yeah.
And I picked against them, and I was still excited for them.
Well, I did not see Florida State play, but I did see that they did have a win. Also, Florida had a win. Yeah.
Yes, and both of them. Now, Florida had a couple of players of their skilled players and veteran players that were out earlier that came back, and I'm sure that made some contribution to to this week. They really got out there and got it done. Florida State was able to pull it together and get a win and play better, and as I thought they would. And they both got uphill battles. They got uphill battles. They look pretty good at this outing, but you got to, it's got to come again next week, and each week after that to stay relevant.
Okay, let me ask you something on a personal level of just being a football guy. Frost, who was here at UCF, and they did a magnificent job. He did a magnificent job while he was here at head coach.
He and his staff.
Right. So, I mean, they did a great job. So, you and I both know what Nebraska has always been when it comes to, because there really isn't anything up there in Nebraska but Nebraska college football. I can't think of anything. But when you Frost at UCF, now you go into Nebraska, and we know what Nebraska has always meant, especially when it was Nebraska and Oklahoma and that big rivalry and all of that. Here's a guy who did a magnificent job, but now 0-3. So when I say from a personal level, I'm asking you your personal opinion on was the UCF team really that good? Was the UCF team really that good? Or is Nebraska really that bad? Because here you got a coach at UCF, now he's at Nebraska, and they're 0-3.
Well, look at the new coach that came in. He's undefeated. Okay, and then you got to remember that team he didn't build it in 1 year. That team was built over a couple of years. So you got the same philosophy coming in that he's going to have to build that in Nebraska. It's not going to happen the first year. I don't expect him to go without a win, but I expected him to struggle some because it takes time to build that. That guy coming in, is he that good of a coach, or did he inherit that good of a team? So I think it goes both ways, and in my opinion, he inherited that good of a team. Now he has to be able to coach it, and he's done a good job of coaching UCF, so they're continuing that streak. Ross got to rebuild. He's got to put his stamp on that program, and that's not going to happen in 1 year. It's going to take a couple of years, but I do think you can bet your bottom dollar it's coming because of the way that he gets it done. But right now, you got to take his licks. So I still think he's a heck of a coach. I think it's going to take him again. I believe it's going to take him at least a year to get his culture in place, get his philosophy down. Those kids got to adjust to it, and before you actually see what you saw there. But because remember, his first year at UCF, he didn't have that. That's a couple of years. That's a couple, 2 or 3 years of recruiting and building and coaching and building philosophy, and then you saw that final step. So, in my opinion, and personally, that's how I feel about both of them.
Wow. So, well, we are coming into the month of October, and October is one of my favorite months out of the year. Like I said, October is a month in which we have football, baseball, basketball, hockey. You know, the baseball league is coming into that month of October that's where I really start paying attention to baseball. And I really haven't been following baseball, but I know that the Red Sox have been tearing it up. You know, they've been tearing it up. They won well over 100 games this year. But coming up in October, basketball season getting ready to start.
Well, we got preseason this weekend. We got preseason
really?
This Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, they're already in camp.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know they were in camp, but there's a preseason game this weekend?
This weekend. It started this weekend. The new collective bargaining agreement, they started camp earlier because normally players don't actually go to camp until October. But they went to camp early in September. They're going to play fewer preseason games to kind of save them for the regular season, but it started. And I've been watching the training camp updates on the NBA channel. It's very interesting conversations out there, a lot to look forward to. I'm kind of excited. I kind of lost my excitement for the NBA a little bit because I really love college basketball. But I'm a little bit excited about the number of changes that have occurred in the NBA, and I want to see how that translates to the floor. I think Golden State is going to be a beast. I'm really interested to see how well Carmelo fits in at Houston. If that's going to be how that's going to work out. The Thunder, Westbrook has had surgery. He's going to be supposed to be with arthroscopy. No, it's a little bit more than that, but that he should be back in training camp pretty soon. Markel Fultz up in Philadelphia, he's healthy. He's back. We're gonna see what he can really get done. He had a great summer getting ready. Boston got their two stars back, so it's going to be interesting. Not to mention some of the other teams around the league. Got new. Atlanta has a new coach and a new coaching staff, and a lot of new players. The Memphis Grizzlies got a new coach, and they got some new kids. So it's a lot of talent, but the West is favored because it's tough out there on that West side of that ball. But the East is going to be very interesting, I think. Miami, got an old guard. They got. What's his name coming back? Can't think. His name escapes me right now. Wade. Dwayne Wade's going to come back and play one more year.
Okay.
Look at San Antonio. They're going to look entirely different.
Ginobili is gone. I won't even recognize them.
Oh yeah. And Pop, I think, is going to coach 2 more years, and I think he's going to give it up. I think he's going to give it up. I see Dallas has hired a female coach. San Antonio has a female coach. There's one other NBA team has a female coach. You got a couple of female coaches in football now.
Oh, really?
So I mean, yeah. You got 2 of them. So I'm kind of interested. I'm a little bit excited. Plus, I'm ready for some basketball. One. So the NBA will kick it off, then college will start right after that, and then it's high school basketball. So because we officially get October 21, October 29, we can actually get in the gym and call it practice, if you will, and really start getting after. And we at my school, we will play that following. We will go on the 29th, which is a Monday. We'll play that weekend. We have 2 games that weekend, what they call play dates. They don't go against your schedule or your record, but it's a chance, like a scrimmage game,
right?
Which we keep score. So we're very excited. We're doing conditioning now, and I'm conditioning my head and mind and scheduled and everything. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for 2 things: cold weather and bad.
Well, I mean, you said a lot, but let me ask you about your school. Your team. So, how your team looking this year?
Well, right now we look very good. Potential, and I hate to use that word, but we got a lot of experience. We got 7 seniors. Got a good underclass coming. So they've been through the wars. They've had a great summer, and so far what we've seen in open gym and conditioning, they're ready to play. So optimistically going into this, we got a chance to be really good.
We talked about this earlier, and I'm still kind of fascinated by it, Vince, because even though as a basketball player, we still played basketball year round because we played in the park, but it wasn't like it is now year round. Mm-hmm. The conditioning part wasn't there. The in touch with the coach wasn't there, in the sense we played though, but we played on our own. It was like when the season was over, we really didn't have association with the coach like that, the way it is now. So it's very different, and I still, because we had this conversation before about how back when we played, you also played other sports, but now it's almost like you're specialized in this one particular sports. There may be a few athletes that may be doing other things, other sports, but it seems to be specialized now.
Well, we have experienced, since I've been here, we have only had 2 football players, or 1 football player that had a major impact. And this year coming in on the freshman side, we're going to have 2 or 3 football players, maybe as many as 4 that are going to be coming. But primarily, you always encourage them to play multiple sports. But what I'm seeing is more of the specialization, because it takes so much to compete, whether you're a football player and you got to be a different kind of athlete to be able to play multiple sports too. a lot of people want to play, but they don't have the determination and discipline to do that. And it's so complicated, because there's so many demands. It's a different type of conditioning. It's a different type of physical exertion on the body, mentally, and all of that thing. So you do find more kids deciding that I'm going to play this sport, and they devote a lot of time to it. Playing AAU basketball, playing with your high school in the summer months, doing your open gym, and then working out with your personal trainer. That's a lot of what I see. That's a lot of what I see. And I worked out a few kids this summer. So staying in touch with them, but we allow them to get out and do their own thing. But we have some mandatory time that we like for them to come in, especially in the month of June when we do our teen camps. And then outside of that, they're on their own. Except I had, like I said, I had about 3 or 4 kids that I worked with twice, sometimes twice, 3 times in the gym, a couple of hours a time, an hour and a half. And then, of course, they were still playing as well. So, yeah, it's a lot of specialized opportunities to get better.
Well, Vince, I'm curious. What is it that you mostly work on now with the kids, like during the summer now, especially, I mean, they're 11th and 12th graders. What is it that they mostly come in and work on now?
Well, it depends on the individual who you work. I work with a lot of big men. So we're talking about footwork. We're talking about basketball IQ, body position, how you play certain things, what happens in certain areas on the floor, where are you, how do you play this? If you're being guarded this way, what do you do? And what I start with is footwork, mental basketball IQ, free throw shooting, and then we go to scenarios on the floor and we teach foot movement, we teach body position, both offense and defensive side of how you play good defense in this particular situation. Now, if he's a wing guy, you got a whole different setting to help him compete from that wing position to be effective offensively, but also how to play a good defense. And of course, we always talk about free throw shooting. Point guards is a different thing. And so I primarily work with those guys around, how we clean that up and how we box out and rebound and some of those techniques and things like that, and a bit of conditioning as well. Because my hour and 15, an hour and 30 is tough. It's constant movement. I break it down to 4 segments, and we cover certain disciplines in each segment. I try to make it go as fast as I can to simulate game action. Then we change mindsets. We go from offense to defense. We go from right to left, middle, dribble drive, drop steps, up and under. And it's just move, and then we go right into something else to try to simulate that game speed type situation. So, and we encourage kids to put a ball in your hand, have a ball in your hand, keep playing, because I think that's what makes it. That's one of the major differences today that you don't have when we came along. A lot of kids are not playing enough basketball, but I say that some kids are playing too much basketball. You're not giving your body a chance to rest. Mm-hmm. You're not giving your body a chance to recover from or just strengthen, or just give it a rest period. So we try to monitor that as well.
Did you see where the Oakland Raider linebacker Neldron Bell was induced into a coma after ruptured brain aneurysm? Did you see that?
Mm-mm. I did not see that.
Yeah, he's an Oakland Raider, and he's a linebacker, and of course they're asking for prayers. But I just thought by the way, are you did I ever introduce you to Angela Adams? Angela is the one who put on the Black Men's Health Summit. Did I ever introduce you to her?
I think we did meet. She's Embry Riddle, am I right?
No. You're talking about Dr. Robin Robinson. That's what you're talking about. But Angela Adams put on the Black Men's Health Summit for 20 years, and I worked with her 19 out of those 20 years on the Men's Health Summit.
I don't know. I don't recall meeting her. I know of her, but I don't recall meeting her.
Okay,
I may have, but I don't recall. I did. It was briefly.
Right. And the reason why I'm bringing it up, because she lost her mother about 3 or 4 days ago, and so shout out to her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and prayers and working with her because she's of course putting the stuff together for the mother's funeral that's going to be taking place on Friday. So I was trying to remember if I had introduced you to her. All right. Did you
I think
ever
we did meet.
attend under the Black Men's Health Summit?
I have.
Okay.
I have attended a couple, I believe. I think I actually spoke at one, but I'm not sure. I had a brief segment at one with somebody. I believe that was early, long time ago. Long time ago.
Right. Right. I mean, because she did, and that's where I met because that's where I met Earl the Pearl because she brought in Earl the Pearl as one of the guest speakers one time. And I don't know if you remember, I told you to. I don't know. Did I share the story that he shared with me when he first came to the Knicks when he left the Bullets? Did I ever tell you that story? What he told me?
I think you did, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. Had a very nice conversation with Earl the Pearl. We talked for a while, and it was funny too because when you're young and you see these guys and you think that they see the game or remember the game the way you remember the game. Because when you're a kid and you watch the game, there's little things that you pay attention to and you just see things the way that you see them and you know that that's how they see them too. But I know when I was having this conversation with him, he didn't know what the heck I was talking about. But I was trying to explain to him, I told him, I said, I watched the first game where you went back to Baltimore. I watched that first game because they televised it. And I was trying to tell him about what happened in that game. And he looking at me like, I don't remember that. And I also told him about the last game that he played. And I told him that I remember the last game before he retired, the last game that he played in. And I told him, I said, I can remember you scored 20 points in your last game. And he looked at me like, I did? Because to me, I'm thinking he would remember his last game, but those guys don't think like that, and he's looking at me like, huh? Oh, okay. Yeah. I said, yeah, you scored 20 points your last game. And I said, the game when you went back to Baltimore, I said, every time you touched the ball, they booed you. But by halftime, they stopped booing you because every time you touched the ball, you scored.
Yeah, that's an interesting situation because I'm watching Kevin McHale was interviewing Kevin Garnett. And it was kind of bringing up from how he got started in the game of basketball and so on and so forth. And it was interesting to hear his narrative regarding some games that I remember watching. Don't remember the way he described it. Just goes to show what his mindset was and his motivation was to about that. So yeah, I can understand that sometimes they don't see the game the same way. And I'll be honest, sitting on the bench when I'm talking with some of the players after a game or some of the parents about some of the things that they're talking about, I don't remember the game the way they describe it either, because I see the game entirely different. At least I'm looking at something different, and they're looking at one thing. I'm looking at something different, and sometimes I look at them. I probably had that same look like that happened. I don't remember seeing that. Because that might not have been important.
Because I remember both of those games like it was yesterday, because I can remember how when he came back and how they booed him every time he touched the ball, and of course every time he touched the ball he scored. So by halftime, before halftime, but by halftime when he got the ball, was nobody saying nothing.
It's interesting to hear there. I was watching COVID, and they were talking about, which were very interesting interviews, as a matter of fact, as he was very honest about his approach and how he felt about it. It's interesting to hear them talk about the very same game that I've seen them play and how different it is. It explains some of the things too, because they're trying to share with you their mindset at that time. So I get it. I get it. And I guess I've experienced that myself. And having people come up and say, "Man, that was a great game," and I saw this boy, he did this, and I'm thinking, I don't remember I didn't see that. I was looking right at him, but that's not what I was looking at. I was looking at something totally different, or I don't even remember that because it wasn't a part of what I'm looking at something specific, and if he did that, what we were talking about, that's what I remember. So yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, and then the thing is, and it was funny too, Vince, because when I was talking to him, because when I was a little kid, he was bigger than life. But I wish my
Right.
mom would have been alive, that I could have introduced them to my mom, because my mom was like one of the biggest sports fans in all of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the mere fact that she
Mm-hmm.
would have had a chance to talk to or be introduced to Earl of Pearl, or the same was when I met Walt Frazier, because
Right.
Shaq's mom does the thing with the NBA wives, and they had the little thing
Mm-hmm.
here because Ken does that with her, and I had an opportunity to take part in the thing that she does with the NBA wives, and had a chance to meet Ray Allen's mom, because her and Ray Allen moms are like they're like really close. And so had a chance to meet Walt Frazier. And I think I shared the conversation I had with you about Walt Frazier, because we sat and we talked for a while, and it was interesting to hear what he had to say about a few things that was going on in the NBA, and a comment that he made about Jordan. Nothing negative, nothing bad. We were just talking about Jordan, and it was just interesting to hear his perspective on Jordan. And I told him that I recognized him, that he was one of my favorite players, and I told him, I said, you one of the few players that I've ever seen play that control the game on both ends of the court. It's not too many players that has done that in this game. So, but he was a really nice guy to talk to as well.
Yeah, he's a nice. I never had a chance to meet him, but I was a big fan of his. Followed his career. Really loved him as an individual as well as a basketball player. So, really big fan. I was a big fan of Walt. Glide to glide.
Like, I mean, and with his personality, he was in the right place. He was in New York City.
He was. Yeah, he would not have done well. Perhaps the only he might have had that would have been LA, but LA wasn't ready for that. Right for him, right then, he was in the right place at the right time.
All right. Okay. Are you ready for the 3-minute sprint, brother?
I'm absolutely ready.
Oh, okay. I mean, I may have some surprises for your sprint today.
Go ahead.
Okay. Here we go. All right. Question number 1. What's your favorite horror movie?
I really don't have one. I'm not a horror fan.
Really?
I have very many of them. I have seen just a few. I really don't. That's not one of my things.
Okay. Have you ever worn a Jerry curl?
I was very similar to a Jerry curl. Yes.
Okay. You didn't drip anything on anybody?
No, I wasn't dripping. I did not drip. I did not drip. I had a dripless Jerry curl.
Okay. Have you ever seen the Grand Canyon?
No, I have not.
Okay.
That's on my bucket list.
Let me tell you, man, it's something magnificent. I'm still trying to go like how did God do that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
The last time you had a dog as a pet?
Ooh, that's been 50 years ago.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you put mustard on your hot dog?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever had rabbit?
Yes.
Which show did you like best, Carol Burnett or Lucille Ball?
Carol Burnett.
Mannix or Barnaby Jones?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Barnaby Jones.
Okay. I'm a Mannix guy. Okay.
Yeah, Mannix got beat up too much for me. He kind of reminded me of Peter Gunn. Always got his head beat in.
The best drummer you know. The best drummer you know.
Oh man, well, probably going back, Buddy Rich was probably at the time coming along when I was probably one of the best drummers I've been. I met some better than that, but that's probably the best one I remember.
Okay.
Going back.
Name the elementary school bully. Who was the elementary school bully?
A kid by the name of Wayne Smith.
Okay. Okay. What was your favorite Kool-Aid flavor?
Punch.
But okay, you know what? That's one of my favorite too. Okay,
Uh,
peanut butter and
Man.
jelly or peanut butter and jam.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Okay, how old were you the first time you bought flowers for someone?
15.
Oh, really? Okay. I won't ask who, but do you
Please.
remember the first time a girl told you that she loved you?
Love me or like me?
Love you.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do. Yeah, I do remember.
Not like you, love you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good question, because I answered the same question. You love me or you like me? You said I love you. I said, really?
Well, see,
I,
but
I ran
depending
home and told
on,
my mom. She said she loved me.
you know what, depending on how old you were, a like was just as good as a love. Because if she
Hey, I
said I
mean,
like you, that was just like she saying, I love you.
well,
When you, I
I
mean,
was
like
under
when you really
13.
young.
Yeah, I was under 13. So if she had said like, that would have been great for me. But she said that she liked me. She said she loved me. And I was like, holy smokes. We done went to another level.
That is too funny. All right,
Yeah.
are you ready? Oh man, did we go over? Well, let's go over this coming week. Let's
Okay.
talk about what's up and coming for this week. Actually, who does your Cowboys play?
I have to take a look. I really, really don't know. I, I don't know. I hope we have a bye week.
Come on now, it's not that bad, is it?
Not yet, but I'm beginning to feel a little funny.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see if we can go with the. Let me see. I think is this yeah. Okay. The Texans and the Colts.
Like in the Texans.
Okay. The Vikings and the Ram. I think that's tomorrow night. Vikings and the
Well,
Rams.
Rams been playing really well. I got to go with the Rams.
The Bills and the Packers.
Packers.
This should be an interesting game here. The Buccaneers and the Bears. And I think this
Wow.
I think this game Jameson is eligible to play.
He is eligible. I haven't heard the announcement yet, but I would. I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers on that.
Oh, you gonna like this week because I see who the Cowboys are playing this week.
Are we playing a college team?
They're playing the Lions. They're playing the Lions.
Ooh, that could be interesting there. I forgot. Yeah, that could be a very interesting. I got to go with the Cowboys, but that could be a very interesting game for us.
Well, they still may be coming out that high of beating New England too. So
Yeah,
I don't.
but I'm also banking on that we're going to play better.
Okay.
We did some good stuff. We just didn't do enough.
Dolphins and the Patriots.
I'm going with the Dolphins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dolphins playing good ball. Patriots sputtering, and they're going to have a surge, but I'm betting against them all year.
Wow. Yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see how, because we've never seen Belichick and Brady deal with anything with a so-so season. So we've never seen that. So
No,
I mean we've
that
seen.
is
I mean we've never seen them deal with having a bad season.
right.
So that'll
it's
be
been a
interesting
long.
to see. Right.
Yeah. I'm anticipating that again. That flow, that backroom conversation is coming onto the field.
The Bengals and the Falcons.
Yeah, Falcons had a good game. Played their hearts out the other day, and I think they still lost. But I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
I don't know what happened with. Did you see any of the Jaguar game? Because I think they only scored like 3 or 6 points. But anyway, they're playing the Jets.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see that. I think they lost the game. I was surprised. I
Yeah,
really expected them to play better. But I'm gonna go with them this week.
the Eagles and the Titans.
Man, the Eagles have not played the way I anticipated they would play. And the Titans are on a roll right now. They're rolling pretty good. I'm excited for the Titans, but I believe the Eagles will come back to true form this week and take the Titans in a good game, a close game.
The Raiders are 0-3, and they're playing the Browns this week. Now, if the Browns beat the Raiders, they're going to run Gruden out of town. If the Browns beat the Raiders,
I can say, I can say give him a chance, but that would be terrible. that would be. But at the same token, now Hugh Jackson has been in the same shoes that Gruden is currently in multiple seasons, getting his brains beat in. So I mean, they may run him out of town, but Hugh Jackson has earned that victory if he gets it, because he paid his dues. He's paid some serious dues.
well, yeah. The Seahawks and the Cardinals, Arizona and Seattle.
I'm gonna have to go with the Seahawks.
Okay. The Giants showed up last week, Vince. I don't know how. The Giants showed up. They won. They shocked the heck out of me. They're playing the Saints this week.
I don't think they win this week.
Giants and the Saints.
Yeah, I think the Saints win.
Okay. Well, the 49ers lost their quarterback, so they're playing the Chargers.
That could be an interesting game. I kind of like the 49ers. I'm going to still give them a shot. It's going to be an uphill battle, though, but I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Really? Who? I mean, I have no idea. Like who? Like who's their quarterback now? I have no idea.
They'll bring some dude up, bring up number 2, what they're paying for, and put him in there, and let's get it done.
Okay. Ravens and the Steelers. Now that should be a good game.
Yeah, that should be a head knocker there, because the Steelers need to get back. They got to get their integrity back, and the Ravens are moving along. I'm gonna get the Steelers a comeback victory.
What's the deal? Is it Bell, right? Bell is the one that's out, right?
Yes.
What's up with him? I mean, what's going on with him?
Dollars and cents, long term versus short term value, but they've proven now they can go on and play without him, and so he and Dez Bryant can be on the same team.
Well, Dez was what I was going to bring up after this right here, because I was going to say still he hadn't signed with anyone. I was going to ask you what's going on with him.
They'll be playing flag football the rest of this year somewhere.
Well, I'm going to ask you about him, but this is the Monday night game. This is the Chiefs and Denver, the Chiefs and the Broncos. Oh man, Chiefs. Wow.
Chiefs look good. Chiefs will roll. I like the Chiefs. I like what they bring to the table.
Yeah, they looked so awesome in the beginning of the season last year. They looked like they was going to take the.
And they had those boys playing well, and they've carried it over a little bit. I mean, they stumbled and bumbled a little bit in the second half of the season, but they're off to another good start. And I like Andy Reid. I like what he does. I like the way he runs his team. And I'm right now. I'm encouraged that they're gonna be able to do
it. Again, to finish talking about Dez Bryant, do you think somebody gonna sign him? I mean, here we are. We're going into the 4th week.
He's been
and has there been anybody talking about signing him?
Yeah, he had a couple of offers. He just chose not to take. The Browns offered him a job. He didn't want. I don't know what he's holding out for. I'm not familiar with what his holdup. Whether he think he's gonna go back to the Cowboys or not, I don't know. But he says he's looking for the right situation. So I don't know what that is.
Wow, that's interesting. And again, we were talking about Bell. Bell is just really holding out for money, 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 money.
Well, it's dollars and cents and length of contract and all of that, and it's just it's a debatable situation, and they're debating.
Wow. Well, they were talking about trading him. They were
Yeah,
talking
that
about a
came up to
trade.
he had to come into camp about if he hadn't showed up by a certain time, then they were going to put him on a trading block. I haven't heard or read anything about that actually taking place yet. Uh, there was some conversation. I do need to read up on it because there was a little bit of conversation Sunday, but I didn't get all of it, and I really hadn't followed up on it. And I will do that for our next broadcast just to see where he is because I, I'm not sure what his holdout is. Although I think Pittsburgh now is past it now. They're kind of like, okay, well then, so they're looking at the trade side now.
Did you see where they were talking about Nike, Kaepernick in the ad, record
Hmm.
engagement with brand or something like that? I know that's been in the
Yeah.
news.
Product sales are up, stock is up. It is doing exactly what they wanted it to do. They made the statement they wanted to make. They're selling product, and the value is going up. So and I do think that people want to marginalize his effort, but and I'm not trying to marginalize any other effort. But he put a cause on the table. He stuck by it. He stood by it, and whatever the cost was, he stayed true to it. So now it's paying off for him on the other side, and people is not appreciating it, I guess, and that's their right. But I think Nike was very strong and very positive for whatever be their reason to put him there because they have a series of those things now that they're saying the same thing. But because Serena was in there, a couple of other athletes were in there, not only just him, but it's
Yeah,
working for him.
the, yeah,
Product
yeah. I think the
product sales
twin.
go up.
I think
Yeah.
the twin from Jacksonville, the
Yeah,
twin
yeah,
from
right, exactly.
Orlando,
From Seattle is in there, so
right?
it's working for him. I think it was a great idea. I think they honored his because he did. You can't value his commitment against someone else's. He stood by his commitment. Now you may not value it, but to him it was a valuable decision because it cost him his livelihood. So but he seemed, I think from this ad, I don't know if he'll get a NFL job, but he's getting paid pretty good.
Wow, wow. All right. Well, we're going to look forward to next week. I know you're looking forward to the NBA. I didn't ask you about North Carolina coming up as far as college basketball. We can get into that next week because I'm pretty sure you got the scoop on how they're looking.
Yeah.
And
Oh
from
yeah,
what I
yeah.
understand, your other college town, Duke, I think they're supposed to be looking good this coming season as well.
Duke
So
has
we can talk about that because
two
college basketball is
really
coming up
good
real
ball
soon.
players. They
Hmm?
got two really good ball players. But I'll share with you my theory about that Duke Carolina situation as well as Kentucky. But definitely Duke Carolina because I really think there's an advantage there, and I'll share that with you and our audience next week.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think people really know how close Duke and North Carolina are as far as proximity of
8 miles.
of each other.
8 miles.
Wow.
8 miles. You would think and if you go to one of their campuses, you think it's 800 miles. They so far from when they're right down the street from one another,
Right.
and
Yeah.
they can't stand each other.
I know. I know. Trust me. I used to hang out with a girl who graduated from North Carolina, and boy, the moment she mentioned Duke, that's when I understood what a dookie was, a dookie, because
Hmm.
she let me know when you talking about a dookie. I was like, I was like,
Well,
oh well, don't take it
uh,
personal. Yeah,
let me
dookie.
update you on that. Let me update you on that because
Uh,
that is how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. I met a friend. I met a young man up here just recently. He was at one of our football games, and he was asking for our schedule for the basketball team. He had on his Duke shirt, and I didn't know him. I just walked up to him and said, "We don't give schedule to Duke players." And anybody who like, he said, "Well, he must be a Kentucky fan." I said, "I'm a Carolina fan." He said, "Oh my God!" I said, "Yeah, you." So we've been pretty good friends ever since then. But he's a staunch Duke fan. And I told him, he said, "They're gonna win the championship." I said, "It must be gonna be ping pong, because it will not be basketball." We got an ongoing thing here, so I can definitely give you some updates on that. That's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, because I understand that they did have a real good recruiting class there, Duke.
Both of them. Now, I will say this: that Duke has two real good studs, but Carolina got two also, who I think will fitting into their system, where I think Duke is going to have to make some adjustments. So we're going to see. Coach K is going to be front and center again. We're going to see what kind of changes he can make. And I'll explain that when we talk about it, because I think there's some major differences in the utilization of his talent that could affect how effective they both are.
When you talk about Duke and North Carolina, my best friend lives in Kentucky, and he talks about that Louisville and Kentucky rivalry, man, and he talk about how serious that is, and
it's serious.
Oh yeah. I mean the way that he talks about it, man, this is like a life and death thing up there, man.
It's a line. It's the division line now. It's a pure. I've been in both of them. I've been in Louisville, and so I understand it's a line drawn down the middle of the street. One or the other. Ain't no. I like both. You got to pick one.
Right. Yeah, definitely. But I want to get the insight next week and find out how North Carolina is supposed to do this year. I'm trying to think of the left-handed guy that went to Duke. I think it starts with a Z or something like that. Supposed to be a really good ball player, left-handed guy, kind of heavy set, but he's a forward.
Coming in, you talking about Zion Wilson over Duke?
Yeah.
There has been some conversation by some NBA people who say he's one of the most NBA-ready players that they have seen. I have seen him play. This young man is very impressive, and E.J. Barrett is very impressive. But Carolina got a couple of guys that equally are impressive. So it'll be interesting to see. Again, I'll share with you my philosophy why I think Carolina will probably have a better season and beat them. And that's all our season is predicated on, beating them. Well, in my mind anyway. And I can tell you why I think that's place.
Okay. And then my question I ask you now, but I want you to answer next week. What made Dean Smith a really good coach? So I ask you that next week.
Man, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm Charles Morse. You've been checking us out here at Youth Central Sports, the one, the true, the only, the original Coach Carter, Coach Carter, right here at Youth Central Sports, where we come your way every Wednesday right here at 11 p.m. at www.youthcentralsports. Don't forget to check out the Journey 2020 every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time at www.thejourney2020.com, where we talk about any and some of everything. As Dr. Robinson used to say, the journey is from me to you and from you to me, so we can reach a higher level. Tune us in Monday, 7 p.m. www.thejourney2020.com. And Vince, it's been a long time since you've been on the journey, man. So, I got to tap you into that, because, we always get into some good, juicy stuff. So you got to let me know what Monday you're available to come on the Journey 2020.
Looking forward to that. I do. I love that engagement, and looking forward to that. And we're going to try and make that happen soon.
All right. Well, we're going to be looking forward to you next week, next Wednesday at 11 p.m. So you enjoy the rest of your week. As I'm going to say, peace. Enjoy the rest of the week. Blessings to you.
God blessings to you all.